Thank you for that, Kara. That was very, very awesome and a clear indication of what we are doing in our schools. Kara is a student in public schools currently, and she didn't earn this creativity through Common Core. I'd like to start by expressing my thanks to Assemblyman DiPietro for holding this event and giving parents and educators a chance to speak out. This is an issue that is at the forefront of many of our minds, and I appreciate the chance to be heard. I've had the pleasure of speaking with him on 2 other occasions, and I am confident that we have an ally of public education in him. I'm an educator, but my #1 role in life is parent, and it is that role that inspired me to co-found the Facebook group Genesee Wyoming Parents for Quality Education. I've spent my life inside the walls of rural schools. I attended one as a child and have served as a teacher in schools in the Genesee Valley area for 13 years. I currently reside in Perry, a rural district within Assemblyman DiPietro's district. It is as an educator, but especially a parent in rural Western New York, that I speak to you today. I seek to remind you of the importance of supporting the 360,000 students who attend rural schools across New York State, and especially the 13,140, or 60.5%, of these students in your district. All schools in New York State are facing extremely tough times, but the struggles of rural schools are unique in many ways. We are being hit, like all other schools, from every angle. The GEA and tax cap together are crippling our schools financially. However, rural schools are facing many other problems as well, and these can all be tied into the money train that is Common Core and the costs of its standards, curriculum, and high-stakes tests. Poverty is the biggest obstacle we face at rural schools. The district where I work has 39% of students receiving free or reduced lunch. The state average for rural schools is 28.7%. A whopping 16.5% of children ages 0 to 17 in that county are living in poverty. In Wyoming County, it's 15.4%. This is only the total of those who qualify for the classification of poverty under the arbitrary federal guidelines. The number of poor students who are above poverty level is a number often ignored or forgotten. With such a high percentage of our students living in poverty and being forsaken by the economics of our governor as we take on the added financial burden of Common Core, many of our districts will be facing the very real horrors of insolvency within the next few years, and some are already there. Our governor glibly suggested in March 2013 that struggling school districts merge rather than seek assistance from Albany, effectively shutting down discussion of how dire our situation truly is. That he would even make this suggestion shows how far out of touch he is with families in rural portions of New York State. Districts have cut their faculties to bare bones. The district where I currently work had over 110 members in its NYSUT local when I started there 10 years ago. We are now down to 86, and we are being asked to do more with less every year. We have begun sharing services with another local district, but are limited by the geographical size of the 2 districts in terms of exactly what we can effectively merge. The combined area would encompass approximately 155 square miles. How can a merger ever be completed? How long would we have students on buses each day? Additionally, rural districts are much more than just schools to the people who reside in them. These schools often serve as community centers, allowing residents to make use of the facilities after school hours. The communities depend on these schools and need them to remain strong and maintain the community's identity. Rural families lack opportunities and choices. We are often marginalized, as witnessed by John King's tour of New York State last fall, where the nearest forums were held in locations an hour or more in driving distance from our homes. Rural families do not have the opportunity to make choices as to where their children may attend school. This is why more than ever, we need our schools to be cared for. We are not seeking choices. We are seeking equity in funding and voices to represent our interests in Albany. Teachers in such areas need representation too. Many are afraid to speak out, clamming up as soon as they are asked about Common Core by anyone outside of their professional circles. King likes to tell the public that curriculum, namely the modules so many parents are struggling with, both in terms of being cognitively inappropriate and containing controversial topics that many feel are too mature for their children, are optional. Adopt, adapt, or ignore is a phrase oft repeated as the mantra of blame deflection at NYSED. As an educator who has been attending cohort meetings all year through the Genesee Valley Educational Partnership, I can tell you that there is no support offered for those who are not conforming to the curriculum laid out by NYSED. My district has not required me to follow the modules for my grade level, and so I have opted not to. At the monthly meetings I attend, all work is centered on unpacking the modules. Common Core and its rushed implementation have marred New York's once revered public education system. The nation is watching with great interest as we struggle to provide quality education for our students. The effects of this failure will last for years if not addressed. How will New York State successfully achieve economic growth if the school system continues on a path of failure? What businesses will move into New York when their employees' children would have to endure our Common Core implementation? The STAMP project in Genesee County could transform the economy in much of Western New York by providing high-tech, quality careers in research, development, and manufacture and semiconductor technology. Common Core could prevent such an endeavor from reaching its full potential as parents take their children's education very seriously and will not wish to be a part of such experimentation. Assemblyman DiPietro, I thank you for your hard work in creating the Apple Plan. It is a plan that finally helps address some of these issues. However, I ask that you continue to work and fight for our rural families. We are too often ignored by Albany's political games. This fight is not about politics for us. It is about our children. And in this fight, we need voices who will fight for us to not only see a yield sign put up on this Common Core road, but are also willing to turn on the sirens and force the wealthy armored cars driving us down this unpaved road to pull over and let us out. Please help us make the Apple Plan the beginning of the end. Thank you.